How to build a universe from scratch? Well, you have to start with ideas, nothing concrete, just ideas. I suppose for the ideas you have to have a mind. So there, I assume there has to be a mind, a big mind, before the universe, so that universe can come into existence. So let's say you need a mind, and in this mind, you need to come up with some ideas. Now, when you speak about ideas, now moving to our universe, um, really the ideas correspond with mathematics essentially to start with. Um, Later on, that would develop into the artistic ideas, but mathematics is really the ideas. In the world of mathematics, anything is possible. You have infinity, have as many numbers as you like, moving forward into plus or backwards into minus or into all kinds of dimensions. Infinity is possible in mathematics, unlike some other sciences. Um, so maths or mathematics is really the science of ideas in the mind. In the mind, one of the greatest mysteries in life or in the universe is the question: is mathematics invented or discovered? Is mathematics invented or discovered? If it is invented, that would assume that we as humans have worked very hard to invent a science that will help us understand a little bit better the universe around us. If it's discovered, on the other hand, it means that mathematics is not in us as humans as our invention, but it is already in the universe around us. It's already imprinted and implemented in the universe, which means that there is a mind before the universe. And I suppose you could think of it in terms of the mind of God. If you believe that God created the universe, there is a mind behind the universe. So, is mathematics invented or discovered? Well, there's evidence in both directions, but I think nobody has anything conclusive, so you can't really say for sure. And it could be both. It could be partially true, both sides, because some of the maths that we used to have and we still have is quite clunky, and the early mathematicians who dealt with geometry, triangles and squares. I mean, in the nature, there's not triangles and squares. Everything is sort of curved and curvy and rather complex. So nowadays, with the powerful computers that we use, this is what we are doing with the powerful computers and better, faster processors. We are trying to create the mind, the artificial mind that can create a new universe, a new world for us. And basically, um, this is what we are trying to do now with the computer. So in some um, video games, for instance, now we have the universe that looks pretty much realistic as it is outside as you look through your house window. It's not like Pac-Man or Space Invaders, the video games from the 70s, where you have like left, right, up and down, and that's it. Sort of two-dimensional universe. But now the computers have progressed so much that the calculations can be performed at such high speeds that you can almost simulate the universe around us. Obviously, it's an illusion; it's on the screen, so it is 2D ultimately. Even though if you turn your screen around, there's nothing behind it. It's 2D what you see, but the illusion appears as 3D, or you can go to even higher dimensions if you like, in terms of illusions. But that's what we do. So with the computers we are creating, we are trying to create the mind, the artificial mind that is so big and vast. It can handle all the calculations and operations when you try to simulate the external world, like everything to do with gravity, how the bodies and mass behaves, and functions in the gravity environment, especially the gravity as it is on this planet Earth. And you see that more and more on computers and 3D modeling and some video games. The reality is becoming the illusion is becoming less and less distinguishable from the true reality around us. So, is mathematics discovered or invented? Yes, no, maybe both. I don't know. Maybe both. Maybe both. Because if you talk about, let's say, there is a mind who starts with mathematics or ideas, then I would presume that is the mind of God who created the universe. And if you take the biblical perspective, in the scriptures, Hebrew scriptures, we are told that in the beginning God had wisdom. When you read the Proverbs of Solomon and some other places, but especially first 10 chapters of the Proverbs, speaks about the wisdom of God. Now, part of that wisdom may be what we call in human terms mathematics, or something that could resemble mathematics in some way. It's probably not exactly the same as what we have. Ours is a simulated copy. It's trying to reach that the infinite wisdom of God, really. So let's say what God has is wisdom, and that may include some sort of what we call mathematics, most likely, something like that. Whether it's called, it's just a human coined term, mathematics, but something like that, something that can calculate things in the world of ideas before it becomes real. So, whether mathematics is invented or discovered, it's for you to think about and ponder upon. Maybe yes, maybe no, maybe both. And then if you have your ideas sorted out in your mind to know how this universe would function in your mind, then you can start actually using your, I suppose, hands. That's an illustration to think about. Whether God who created the universe has hands or not, that's a question. You need something. You need some tools, let's say. You need something to make the ideas concrete. And here you enter into the next step is the realm of physics. So first mathematics, then physics. With physics, you apply mathematics into the real world, and you have these behaviors in the universe that will control the physical concrete matter, like the law of gravity, the forces that we have, electromagnetism, nuclear forces, weak, strong force, all the other forces you can talk about in terms of real life, that we face, like friction and all that sort of stuff. Physics. So ideas of mathematics are stretched in space and time through physics. They're stretched in space and time. So you have now the universe. It's not an idea anymore in the mind. It's come out of the mind into the reality, physical reality. In this case, there may be a universe that's not physical, but in this case, physical reality. There may be a universe that's not physical like ours, but the ones we see around us, the physical reality, stretched out in space and time. That's it. It's set. And there's something there. Something. It's not an idea anymore. It's something. You can call it whatever you want. Something. Mass, matter, space, time. There's something there. Matter and energy, space, time, and somehow things happen strangely and mysteriously. And out of the field of physics, now we move into the field of chemistry, where you actually start having things happen and things combine. So you start now to refine the matter for construction with chemistry. So the matter that's around, somehow you start to refine it for construction. So you can build things like with Lego blocks. just I suppose for us as we know it on this planet anyway, carbon is the key element that's used to build things. It's just got such structure that you can build things with it easily. So for us, refining the matter for construction, it's all carbon based. We are carbon based organisms, and you can see that the science is advancing in how to use carbon atoms now. Um, and they make things that are so strong and powerful on a nanoscale that carbon is a great element to build things. Iron happens to be the most stable element in the universe. Just by the by, I'm not going to talk about that, but iron is the most stable element in the universe. But let's just stick with carbon. So you have carbon, that's the Lego blocks for us humans. And that's how this world and us are built, living organisms, carbon-based organisms. And then you can build stuff with it. You can build things with Lego blocks. You can build, I don't know, a house, a car. You can build a person or a human or an animal. But it's just made of blocks, isn't it? So if you want things to start to move somehow, you need biology. And then things can start to move and grow. And if you start with basic world of flora or plants, you have life in its basic sense. It's nature. It's the grass, the trees that grows around us. Um, and they don't tend to move that much, really. Plants and trees, they stuck where they are. But then you move on to things that move, like animals. Now, animals are a bit like machines in a matter of speaking. Of course, animals have feelings, but they used to be called automatons, like automatic, centuries ago. I think maybe Francis Bacon, I'm not sure who called them that way, but they're like machines. In other words, they're programmed computers to behave a certain way through they're driven by instincts, which are the programs that run them. Now, animals have no choice but to follow uh, their instincts, unless you find and retrain the animals from the wilderness, like some people have retrained tigers or some other animals like that to be herbivores, not to eat any meat. So these are now vegetarian animals. You retrain them, but there has to be somebody to retrain them, to rewrite the software. But apart from that, in general, animals are automatons. So, like to use a biblical example here, um, God told Noah to build an ark, and Noah probably tried to get a few more people on the ark. 8 people is not a lot, is it? Tried to save a few lives there, a few more lives, but nobody would listen because even with the instinct for survival, there are things like um, that humans have, like beliefs, worldview, trust, doubt, these kind of things that are not really uh, found in the realm of animal world. So you find God commands the animals to come in 2 by 2, and animals follow. God tells people to do stuff, and people don't do stuff. It was like that from the beginning with Adam and Eve. So there is something more advanced with humans now. We come to humans. It's not just an biology of ordinary biology. It's not life like plants or moving life like animals. With humans, you have something advanced now. Now, the Bible says, obviously, that humans are created in the image of God. That it could mean many things. Um, but one of the things really that pretty much demonstrates to me that this is true is that the way that we are right now in the 21st century, how we create stuff and what we do with computers and technology. I mean, where does this stuff come from? I mean, if it makes sense, if you're made in the image of the creator, that we reflect his abilities, that we have the same, not same, the similar ability in principle to come up with ideas and create our own things and build things weird and wonderful. And that's what we're doing now, a lot through the help of the computers, because they can perform so many calculations at incredible speeds that can make things buildable and practically possible. So humans, that's the most advanced form of biology on this planet Earth, in the solar system also. What else is out there beyond the solar system? I don't know. Nobody knows. It's too far away to see, even with the best telescopes. So that's not a concern of mine. And pretty much the Bible is the book. It's not about the universe. It's about the planet Earth and the humankind. When you take the Bible as a story, it's really not. There are some glimpses and hints of what's happening out there in the heavenly realm, in the spiritual realm, or maybe elsewhere in this physical universe. But it's about the humankind. The Bible is the story of humankind. It's focused on humankind, its origins and destiny. So we'll stick with that. Okay, so moving from biology, just thinking about humans now. Let's leave animals and plants behind us. Coming to humans. Now, before you can create humans, you need another science to approach after biology. It's psychology. Okay, psychology. So now I come to the matter of mind. The mind. That's where all begins. If you want to build a universe from scratch, you need the mind. So now psychology deals with the mind. And in psychology, you can establish, just like in this universe, you have certain laws like gravity that govern things. You can say you also have the laws of psychology, or the laws of mind, the laws of thinking, like logic and things like that. So you can think in a progressive, logical, step-by-step way, rather in some nonsensical way that can get you nowhere. So there are certain laws of mind, like logic, and here in the realm of psychology, then you devise how the mind, the human mind, works and functions. And I'm not going to go into the whole thing of emotions and feelings. That just say that's the part of our design. That's how we are. But let's move on to the next science. One more science that's needed. Maybe not needed, but let's say it's needed. We need it now, clearly. Ethics. That's the laws. There's no laws. Um, the way we are, people just walk into each other's houses and take stuff away. The strong will take stuff from the weak. The people just kill. People just do whatever they please. Whatever the instinct tells you to do, or your desire tells you to do, that stems from your heart, your soul, your mind. So that's how we are. We are messed up. So we need laws. We need ethics, standards of behavior. Uh, Otherwise, you descend into chaos. Now, the question is: Do you? Could there be a universe without ethics? Now, if we are all naturally like God is, God is love. The Bible says there is no need for laws if there is love. Love trumps the law. If you all are to relate to one another, to each other, the way God relates to us, or the way His nature is, there would be no need for the laws, because naturally we would be doing what we are meant to do by design, by the original blueprint design, the way God created us in the beginning, to reflect His nature of love and to behave towards one another the way we should. And you all know this is not happening. It's not happening. It's not happening anywhere. In this world, you don't have to go and talk about wars and things like that. It's everywhere. We're all messed up. And just because you believe in God or go to church, so what? You're still messed up like everybody else. And in every home, in every relationship, everything is messed up. And there is always this conflict of interest. That's what causes conflicts, interest. self-interest, and there is a conflict of interest, and there is always conflict of interest, and we all get into conflict of interest situations because that's our nature. It's not love. It's not the divine love. It's self-interest. That is our nature. So we have to struggle with it and find ways to deal with it. And that's where the ethics come from. So that's where we are in this universe, in our little world, little speck of dust in this big entire universe that we see around us. We stop at ethics. Now, there may be something more to it. There may be things that we do not know about, that we have not discovered yet, probably. But in terms of the sciences that we have, that's it, pretty much. It's the basic thing, running from mathematics to ethics. There are other sciences. You can talk about social sciences or some other things. You can talk about art that is clearly part of the created order. When you look at the beauty of the nature, the beauty and the symmetry, two keywords that relate to the artistic aspect of this world and universe. So if you believe that God is the creator, he's not only a mathematician or engineer, he's also an artist, he's artistic being. There are many other things you can talk about, but this is a very basic summary of how to build a new universe from scratch. So as far as I can see it, you have to start with the mind. Without the mind, you can't get any ideas, really. So you need the mind to start. And if you take the biblical story seriously, the mind we are talking about is the mind of the Creator God, who made everything according to his plan, his ideas, and his will. And there is more to come in this story.